Right after I did the other video that goes through the organization setup and the campaign name and everything, just kind of the general overview of this page, I thought, hey, what if I do a quick video just to kind of outline the pros and cons and more strategy kind of conversation of the four types of advertising that Qujam uses for our geofencing platform. So that's what this video is. I'm going to go through the pros and cons of display, OTT, video pre-roll, and digital audio ads. But before I do that, I do want to express that these ads are, like all advertising, best used as a mixture. I'm a big believer in what's called integrated marketing communication, where multiple different mediums come together to reach an audience member in different ways with the same message but slight variations to allow it to really be more impactful and more effective than using the same medium and the same message over and over and over again. Think of that as your parents or you as a parent talking to your kids saying the same thing over and over and over again, and your kid not getting it, or you not getting it as a kid, and then next thing you know, their teacher or their grandmother or somebody else says the same thing, and they're like, "Oh, it clicks." That's integrated marketing communication. You have that different message from a different source, but it's also very similar to what it is. It's just delivered in a different way that is more receptive. So that said, having a mix of different advertising mediums, not just these ones on the screen, but across the board in your marketing efforts, is important to a successful holistic campaign. And I say this as somebody who has been advertising for 20 years, ran ad agencies for 11 years. This is more of a strategy hat that I have than my Qjam hat. Okay, so what medium do I use for Qjam? Well, there's a couple things to think about. First is, do you have the ability to use each medium? And those two things are really tied to budget and creative. Do you have a big enough budget to actually get enough impressions, so enough times that somebody sees your ads to get some kind of results based off of the general population that you're going after? That's a really important question, is how much money do you have to spend? If you don't have a lot, then you're not going to be able to use every single one of these mediums. Now, the other thing is do you have the creative capacity and the assets in order to run these things? It's a lot easier to get a banner ad that's a graphic design thing. You can whip it up in Canva. You can pay a freelancer pretty inexpensive for that. We provide creative services at a discounted price for our QGM users. So there's a lot of options for that compared to video production, which is always more expensive, more time consuming. Not everybody has access to that. And same thing for audio, but to a lesser degree than video. So do you have the creative and do you have the budget in order to run certain campaigns or a certain mixture of campaigns? So that's the first question that you have. Now, to dive into more of the specifics of each of the different individual types, I'm going to start with display ads. Display ads have what's called the lowest cost per thousand. Cost per thousand just simply means the cost to have your ad be seen 1,000 times, 1,000 impressions. So that's really beneficial when it comes to, hey, I want to reach a lot of people and I want to reach them multiple times. Well, display ads tends to be a very good asset in order to have that massive reach and massive frequency. There's a lot of inventory there. There's a lot of different publishers and apps and websites that we tap into. So we're able to do that very well. The con on display ads, though, is that they're not as impactful as video and audio ads. So if you think about it, display ads are always going to be complementary to something else that's on a screen. If I'm on a game, I'm playing a game, and then I see the banner ad. If I'm on a website and I'm looking at a news article, I'm reading the news article, but then the banner ads are there and they rotate through as well too. So lower impact, but lower cost, so you get a lot more of them. That's the pros and cons of display ads. The video ads, I'm going to start with OTT, CTV, and then I'll jump into video pre-roll. They are a higher cost per thousand, OTT more than video pre-roll. OTT ads are kind of like watching primetime television. They are normally on the big screen. So if you haven't come across this yet, even though we use GPS tracking to identify that someone's been at a very specific place, which is obviously more of someone's cell phone, we also use cross-device matching to identify that that cell phone is connected to a TV in the living room, a tablet, a computer, another mobile device, those kind of things. So about 50% plus of our OTT CTV inventory, varies by campaign and audiences, tends to actually be on the big screen. So you have a bigger screen to get their attention. You also have sight and you have sound and you have emotion that you can tie into it because it's a video commercial. You can actually have the creative that gets a little bit more time. 15, 30 seconds are the normal kind of rate lengths for those things, but you get the audience members' attention for a longer period of time, right? So they're more impactful. They also interrupt somebody's programming. I don't love that as a consumer, but as an advertiser, I do, because if I'm trying to watch my favorite show or live sports or live news, then I'm engaged. I'm looking at that TV or that tablet or that other device, and all of a sudden I'm interrupted by a commercial. Don't love it, but hey, we're all used to it. But that means I have your attention, which is really valuable. The video pre-roll side of things, where it's internet videos, right? Those are going to be less expensive than OTT CTV, more expensive than banner ads because they're still impactful, but they tend to be also the same kind of thing. There's sometimes more things going on either a computer screen, a tablet, or a phone, which is where these tend to pop up as people are looking at news sites, sports sites, cooking blogs, whatever it might be. So the commercial runs, inside that content that you're trying to get. So again, it interrupts your content so you have more of that person's attention. But you also, again, have video, which is just a more impactful medium and creative asset than static banner ads or even animated ads. Animated ads on display ads, they move, but not the same type of movement as video or animation that you can use in a video commercial, as well as there's no audio. And then the last one is digital audio ads. So this is tapping into inventory that you don't get with the other ones because it's all audio inventory. So you're also reaching people at different times. People listen to music or podcasts or talk radio through streaming services at different times as well. And it's less expensive than OTT, but it still has an impact. It doesn't have video, so it's not as impactful in my opinion as a creative, but it's got that emotion and that audio component to it, which is really nice. And it's a great complement to everything else that you have going on. They all are good complements to each other, because if I'm a user and I'm streaming audio, then I'm most likely not watching Hulu. And if I'm watching Hulu, I'm most likely not watching digital audio. So you have more chances to reach them with more inventory. And because people use these things at different times and at different capacities as well too, depending on the person and the audience. So I know that's a lot of video. I know I hit you with a lot of information, but hey, if you're interested and you watched it, then I hope it was helpful. And if you have any questions, just as a reminder, you can always schedule a demo with Qujam, contact us, or find numerous of our other assets under resources or in our FAQ section.